Hey, what's up guys and welcome back. First of all, yes, I've been gone for some time now. I've been really busy with family stuff guys over the Christmas and now the New Year's. This intro is new, I'm doing this right now, but this video has been pre-recorded already, so this is part 4 of What If Naruto Was Reincarnated as Cid Kagenou. As for the others, I've not cancelled anything. I'm going back home tomorrow, so you can expect regular updates tomorrow guys, so yeah. Just sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs or the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 of them guys if you're new. All links will be down below for the other channels. So go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy. And also don't forget to comment down below or turn on the bell notification so you guys can see exactly when I post. So yeah, without further ado or wasting no more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So, the last part that we left off, there was a strange creature that was walking through the desert. It had just taken out 2 teams of sand shinobis. However, it didn't just kill them, it absorbed them. From their chakra down to their life essence, it completely absorbed them, rendering them empty, to the point where their bones started to break apart because they became too brittle, and they broke. This monster was linked to Naruto. On the day of his birth, this monster also rise, and now it's here. The link is still not clarified, but he was linked to Naruto somehow. We then skip back to Konoha as Jiraiya had finally came back after all these years now. He was here to report a few things to Sarutobi. Turns out that Jiraiya knew of an organization known as Shadow, who has been causing mayhem between Kumo and the Stone recently. They have been getting involved between their businesses. And the last time something like this happened, it ended up going wild to a wild scale and caused mayhem for the entire world, as Harrison sat down and listed the reports, not to mention the recent deaths of shinobis. They were unaware of what was causing it. However, skeletons were found recently after a team had intercepted one of their teams being killed. The bones were so brittle to the touch they turned into dust. However, they had no idea what exactly this monster was, but it was out there. Whatever kind of monster it was out there, waiting, lurking in the darkness. That is when Jiraiya asks about, well, his godson, Naruto. Hiruzen told him to sit down as this was gonna be a long one to explain, as Naruto wasn't your normal kid. As he started to tell him everything that he's noticed and everything that has happened so far. So with that, we skip towards where Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata was, as all of them were currently reading a note that was left behind by their sensei. Their team was half-tracking team, so their first job was to find her. However, the forest was not safe. Hinata showed her level of control and how better she was getting as she navigated them through the forest using her Byakugan. It did not take them too long to come across their sensei, who was standing there waiting for them. She congratulated them on passing without any injury. However, it wasn't done yet. Far from it. She gave all of them a ball in their hand, as they had to hold on to it. They should not lose it. Otherwise, the consequences will be dramatic. So with that, they had to venture back through the forest to get back to the location where they read the note. However, this time, she had a bit of a help. Her friend Uncle Mirashi arrived with a buttload of snakes to keep them from getting to their destination. The snakes also serve as a way to split them up. With that done, she placed Sakura under a genjutsu, which she was unable to break as she was easily taken down. She then went after Hinata as she knocked her away. She then turned towards Naruto as she faced off against him. However, she took down one of his clones. The real Naruto had run away, as he wasn't one to just go on and fight her. She realized that he was keeping much to himself. They were already having an investigation about him, But the more she spent time with him, the more she learned about him. She then made her way towards the other area. She picked up Sakura and brought her back. When the other two finally regrouped, she gave them a choice. Leave Sakura behind and she take on the both of them. However, Naruto stepped in as he said no. He placed in a speech that would seem rather shocking, even willing up to giving up his own ball, to make sure that he can keep Sakura on. Sakura was shocked, never expecting this at all. She was used to the kind of treatment that she got from Sasuke, but this, someone being so selfless, it shook her to her very core as she couldn't believe it. As Naruto handed over his, it didn't take long for Hinata to hand over her ball as well. Kurenai was proud that they were at least sticking together. However, a part of her wondered if he planned all of this. The way he was so selfless, the way he got Sakura to now depend upon him. As the selfless one of the group, she had to watch him very carefully. She had to go back though and report to the Hokage about this. She was surprised to see that Jiraiya of the Sannin was there. Granted, she did not like some of the man's activities, but he was a well-respected and well-known shinobi. That was something she respected. As for Sakura, she was left there with her two teammates, as Naruto offered her something that she could not refuse. 2 months passed by. The past 2 months has been hell for Sakura. She had added weights upon her. Naruto told her that she could not tell their sensei. In fact, she could not tell anyone. However, after she saw the benefits of what he was offering her, she applied, and she did not tell anyone. She has grown dramatically over the past 2 months, genjutsu-wise from her sensei, and different kind of trainings from Naruto. Their sensei was teaching them everything that they need to know. Granted, they have not been out of the village yet, because they were still doing D-rank missions, but they were coming along well. The water walking, the tree walking, and better grasp of their chakra. Things were getting there very soon. It was finally time for Team 8 to take a C-rank mission, as they were escorting Shibuki back to the Waterfall village. Shibuki's father had just recently passed, and it was his turn to take up the mantle of leader of the village. However, from a single glance, Naruto could tell that he was a coward. It did not take too long for them to arrive. Shibuki offered them another mission to help with the trash cleanup of the village. As they proceeded to help, Shibuki would not let them inside because the entrance towards the village was a well-kept secret. However, it didn't take too long for someone to arrive, screaming out for help. The village was under attack. Kurenai had snapped some sense into Shibuki if he needed their assistance, so they made their way inside and took down some of the goons. To see that majority of the civilians had been captured, the leader of all of this was Suan. Actually, he was Shibuki's teacher. Naruto was not backed by the man, as he seemed to be unconscious, while the others split apart. They faced off against Suan top lieutenants. As Kurenai took on the second strongest of the group, Shibuki was facing off against his own master, as they made their way towards the base of the tree where the water was. Shibuki was forced to give it over to Suan when he threatened to kill all of the people, as he rather had them alive than have the elixir to himself. That is when Suan drank it, and his power exploded outwards. He knocked out Shibuki rather quickly. While that was going on, Hinata faced off against another member of the group. Her expertise and her strength had grown dramatically as she was able to take him down rather easily. Not to mention Sakura, she was keeping up with a rather powerful member of the group who would have normally been able to kill someone like this rather easily, but Sakura even managed to wound her. But the girl was ridiculously stronger than her. Not to mention her age was a big factor in this, and her experience. Hinata arrived though to help Sakura. While that was going on, Naruto finally arrived inside. Seeing that there was no one around, this was a perfect time for him to reveal himself as the eminence in shadow. As he took on his cloak, he stood in front of Suan, who was shocked to see him back on his feet. As Suan released a burst of chakra, saying that he was going to take him down, he was nothing as they clashed. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place of yourself. So what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode begin? Now guys, Suan, who had just been empowered by the hero water, was confused. This shouldn't be humanly possible. His body was overflowing with chakra. He was at the peak of his power, and even rising beyond that, and yet his blade that was created by the essence of water itself empowered to slash and tear through anything could not break through this sword. "Who are you?" Suan said, as his blade was locked with the individual. He saw this boy's face before this cloak came over him. He was sure that this boy was nothing but a weakling before, who he gave one punch and knocked out. So how was he doing this? "I already told you," said Naruto with a grin, his black clothing over him, as he was using one hand to stop the massive sword that was made from water that Suan was trying to use to kill him. Suan grit his teeth as he pulled back. He then slashed at Naruto midsection, only for Naruto to block it once again. The both of them vanished. Suan was pushing his legs further than he could ever push them, trying to outpace this boy, but somehow he was keeping up with him. Frustration started to rage inside of him. Suan jumped back as the water sword melted. "What? No more blades?" Naruto asked. His entire left shoulder and his right shoulder start to be covered in water, running down to his fists. The ground underneath him cracked as he appeared in front of Naruto. Naruto ducked as the fist passed over his head. A knee then came up as Naruto flipped backwards. He landed softly. His sword was overtaken by slime before vanishing. He then brought both hands up to his face. "Alright then," he said. "If it's a fist fight you want, how about a little boxing?" Suan ignored that as he flew forward at impressive speeds. He swung as Naruto ducked. Naruto then came up with a solid uppercut that snapped his head up into the sky. Naruto stepped into his guard and slammed a fist right into his right cheek, then one into his left. He weaved under his punch. He then slammed two into his guts and one more to his face. Suan staggered back. Everything was so dizzy. His mind snapped back into focus as he yelled in rage, only for Naruto's fist to smash into his nose, and then two more into his chin, one across his face and the other across his face once again. He staggered back, blood dripping from his mouth. He started to lose every sense of the word sanity as he was getting so angry. He should be crushing anyone that stand against him now. He just drank the hero's water. He should be invincible. He should have a power that is beyond anything. How was this child treating him like this? He jumped back. I'll show you what true power is, and erase you," he yelled, as he was losing himself in rage. Naruto narrowed his eyes towards the man who was pulling all of his power out. The hero water was extending his chakra to unreal levels. Naruto watched as all the water around them from the ponds and beneath the tree started to be gathered. It was pulled forward. Meanwhile, Kurina looked down towards her unconscious foe. As she glanced towards where she felt that humongous amount of chakra, her eyes widened as she saw water being pulled into mid-air and it was solidifying. She quickly took off. "Damn it, I'm not gonna make it in time," she thought as she leaped from building to building. The remaining Taki shinobis who were facing off against the low-level grunts that Suan had brought were also racing toward the scene. However, there was someone else, a group that was just returning from a mission, a girl that was moving as fast as she could to come to defend their home. As for Sakura and Hinata, as the both of them were standing surprised, they glanced up towards mid-air as they could see the water solidifying. Behind them was a woman that they were facing earlier. Her eyes were open but the sockets were white. Hinata and Sakura did not escape unfazed either. They had cuts and bruises over them. As Hinata looked forward towards a massive spear that was being formed. "Where's Naruto?" Sakura said. Hinata already knew that he was over there. However, she did not see the problem because he would definitely be fine. Meanwhile, Suan started chuckling like mad as he created a massive spear of water that he compressed to the tiniest form. It was brimming with power and force. To drop this on any individual would mean their death. And he was gonna use it on a child. This child that had frustrated him. "You should have ran away when I gave you the opportunity. Now, you will see what true power is." Suan expected fear, he expected screaming, but what he got was laughter. as Naruto threw his head back and laughed, finding this rather hilarious. You call that true power? Pathetic. Let me show you what true power is. Well, a tiny fraction of it, said Naruto. His sword materialized as he grabbed it. He then turned his body so the sword could not be seen as he gripped it at his waist. Suan yelled as he fired his attack. It came racing towards Naruto, destroying everything in its path. As Naruto grinned, he gripped his blade tightly as a purple aura started to gather around him. Atomic slashes, he said. He then slashed his blade forward, then upwards, then sidewards. Suan watched as the technique was about to envelop his target until a slash tear right through it, splitting the technique through the middle, then straight through the top, then through the side once more. Suan was shocked as his technique was broken apart with 3 easy slashes like it was nothing. The force of the slashes passed him. As he felt them, he was blown back, unable to keep a hold on the ground despite the chakra on his feet. The earth was gouged out and ripped apart, deep grooves that went deep into the earth. Suan slammed into the tree, but the slashes stopped right before they reached it. After all, if they did, the entire tree would have been cut through, and the fall of that tree would have been catastrophic on Take. So Naruto did not allow it. He had that much control. Suan was shaken. All essence of his power was gone. He did not understand. It wasn't humanly possible. How could a child have this amount of power? Well then, I guess this is over, he heard as he looked up. Naruto stood above him with his blade in hand as he brought it down, only for him to stop. Suan started to steam out. His body started to shrivel up. It started to get old. The side effects of the hero water, Naruto thought to himself. From the moment he drank the water, Naruto could see that he was killing himself, burning himself out. It seems like he finally reached it when he used that technique. As Naruto allowed the slime to take his clothing as he returned back to his normal ninja wears, the sword vanishing as well. As he stood there calmly as Suan, life force was left at 0, his head collapsing down. As Naruto turned towards Shibuki, he made his way over to the tree where he made sure to store the man during the fight, so that he wouldn't get harmed by any of this. He reached inside as he pulled him out. As he brought his 2 fingers up towards his forehead that were glowing purple, he was about to wake him up until Naruto spun. As he brought his arm up, a heel came down. The ground underneath Naruto shattered by the tremendous force from this individual. The person was rather shocked that he was still on his feet. She flipped up in mid-air as she brought her other heel down, this time aimed towards his skull, as Naruto tilted his body. The person's legs shattered the ground into pieces, showing the amount of force. She then drove her other feet up to take Naruto's head clean off. However, she saw his head bend. Her eyes widened as she stepped back. She dropped to her knees, immediately bowing her head. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I thought you were one of the enemies. I didn't mean to attack you." A purple pulse shot from Naruto's finger and hit Shibuki right in the head. As he started to groan as he was waking up. As Naruto placed a hand behind the back of his head. "Oh, it's quite alright," he said. "Given the situation, and seeing that you were not here, seeing that I did not see your face when we entered the village, I'm not surprised that you wouldn't." As she looked up with teary eyes to show how sorry she was. As Naruto smiled it off though. She had mint green hair and orange eyes, a strange cylinder on her back. Her clothes consist of a white and mesh, as she had 2 people running behind her. "Fu, is everything alright?" 2 guys as he looked around. Fu? Shibuki said. "Shibuki-sama," she rushed towards him. As she knelt, "Are you alright?" she asked him. "Yeah, but what's going on? Did you stop Suan?" No, I just came, she said. I thought she glanced upwards. Did you? No, said Naruto. Don't you remember? As he looked toward Shibuki. Remember what? Well, you were fighting him. Don't you remember that? Yeah, but somewhere between I was knocked unconscious. Well, he seemed to have used up a lot of his power. I don't know why, but he started to emit steam, like he was almost burning up. Shibuki's eyes widened. The water. It was water that he drank. It slowly feeds off your life essence some more. You use your power. A side effect. That is the reason why I did not consume it to fight him. Whoa, really? A good thing that you wore him out then, otherwise. I would be dead right now, said Naruto, looking rather panicked. Well, it doesn't matter. We're all safe now. Naruto! As Naruto turned to see Sensei rushing over. Are you alright? She asked. What's going on? I'm fine, Kurenai Sensei. Our hero here saved the day, he said, looking towards Shibuki, who simply smiled up towards him. Time skip. Kurenai was in the same location where the battle had taken place. She did not view said battle, however. She got the gist of what happened. As Naruto said that he was able to hold out for a few minutes until a guy burned himself out. He said that he relied on his clones to trick the guy, because he could not fight someone like that. He was just too strong. However, Kurenai had felt the traumatic amount of chakra, not to mention that spear of water. However, she was not sure what happened to it. One moment it was there, the next moment it went out. Naruto said that the guy put too much power into it and he started to steam out. She saw it flatten by itself. She didn't see anything hit it from where she was, but her view was obscured by the buildings and also the massive bark. However, she looked towards the ground where the deep grooves were. Suan had been fighting with water blades. Naruto had informed them. There was no reason to question what he said because everything that he said, it had a perfect explanation for it. However, something was off. She did not feel Naruto's chakra. That was a problem. Yes, he was a Jinchuriki with a vast amount of chakra. He said that he was only using clones, but she did not feel it at all, which made no sense. It was almost like he wasn't even a part of the battle. And that was not something that she can question him about because he could simply say that he was not sure what she was talking about. After all, he was still a first genin, 2 months out of the academy. There were certain things that he probably did not know. And there was no way, no humanly possible way that he could conserve and hide so much chakra. That was impossible. Even though she wasn't the best sensor, she was sure that she would have felt something at least if he was fighting back. She was just starting to broach the topic of elemental training with them. However, still, even with the clones, she didn't feel anything while the battle was going on. Nothing at all, which is highly suspicious. As she looked over the damaged area, time skip, Fu, that was her name. Her orange eyes were looking towards her new leader. With his father passing, he had taken up the mantle as a leader of the village. As Shibuki sat in his seat, the Konoha ninjas departed this morning. He was beyond grateful to them for their help in the assistance of saving his village. More so Naruto Uzumaki. If it wasn't for that boy, he would still be cowering away from all of his future endeavors. That boy was able to snap some sense into him with just a few words, and he was grateful. Shibuki-sama. Shibuki glanced over towards Fu. You think I can go to the Chunin exams this year? He looked towards her surprise. Given your recent involvement in missions, it is highly likely that you will get a field promotion rather than having to go to Chunin exams. What brought this on all of a sudden? Well, they're keeping in Konoha, and I never knew that the Konoha shinobis were so nice and strong as well. Yes, they really are nice, Shibuki said. But in terms of strength, you were grown differently from them, Fu. You're far advanced for your age. You will squash all of your competition. I don't think so, she said. He raised an eyebrow at that. Fu was always confident in her strength, despite the backlash that she faced for being what she is. She always took pride in her strength. So he was rather surprised to hear that coming from her mouth. What do you mean by that? He asked. That Naruto Uzumaki. I think he's stronger than me. What? I know he's a strong child, but Fu. Come on, he said. No, you don't understand, she said. When I first arrived and I saw him, I thought that he was the enemy. I brought down all the might that I could in my kick, and yet he blocked it with almost no effort. Seriously? Shibuki said, looking towards her, rather surprised. She nodded her head. And I did it once again and he dodged me. Even while I was going near to my top speed. He's fast and extremely strong. However, that seemed to bring a smile to her face. And I would like to meet him again. And actually fight him for real this time, she said. That made Shibuki chuckle. The stronger the person is, the more she's willing to fight them. However, he was surprised. He knew the strength that Fu contained. And her strength was ridiculous. In a few years tops she will be as strong as the legendary Sanin from Konoha's Navy, and there was no doubt about that. Fu was a special girl after all, but to hear her say that a simple genin is stronger than her, despite her being a genin herself, as she had recently become a ninja, that was beyond surprising. As he wondered to himself, the Chunin exams. Because of this mission, Konoha and Taki will be in more good favors than before. No promises, he said, but I'll think it over, he said. As he gave her a smile. That brought a happy smile to her face. Despite what he just said, his smile was proof enough that he was gonna make her go. The only problem was some of the council members, because of her being a Jinjuliki. Well, certain reactions were destined to come. But he was a leader now, and it was time that he stand up and take charge, be a man, and lead the village as his father left in his hands to lead. Time skip, Konoha. Hiruzen sat in his chair as he took in all of the information that he was given. The group had just returned. Kurenai dismissed the others as she gave the information after. Naruto gave a recollection of what had happened while he was there by himself. Kurenai then told what she truly believed had happened. As Hiruzen leaned back in his chair, were you able to examine the body? He asked Kurenai. Only for a brief moment, but there was no external wounds that I could see, which play exactly into the story that he gave us. As Hiruzen leaned back once more, trying to think of the possibilities of what could have led to the death of this Suan individual without an interference from Naruto. He knew that Kurenai was not the best sensor, but Naruto was like a beacon inside of an empty gala. Because of his chakra, and not to mention whenever he's fighting, it would be hard not to know that he wasn't there. So what she said made absolutely no sense. Once again, the boy proved to be a secret that none of them knew. Having him watch, having his apartment being checked, it proved to lead to a dead end. To this day, he had no idea what the child was truly capable of. However, he had a plan. Him and Jiraiya had a plan per se, which involved Jiraiya getting the answer out of him during the upcoming Chunin exams, as he was going to inform Kurenai of at this moment. Meanwhile, that was going on, as Naruto returned home to see an unexpected guest inside of his bed sleeping. Someone had visited his apartment while he was gone, and it was not his guest. He figured that Sir Toby was the one that was given the order for someone to check out his apartment. However, all they will find is a standard apartment. It is what underneath that they could not find. Not even the eyes of the Hyuga could see. What truly is this building? No one could. After all, no one else in this world had magic. He alone. Magic mixed with chakra was something truly divine. However, at the moment, Naruto looked down toward his bed. Sleeping completely naked inside his bed was Mina, as she was twitching and rolling over. He doubted that she was still asleep. The moment he stepped inside of this house, she probably knew that he was there. In terms of tracking and her nose, Mina was better than him. Her senses were more animal type. Even with Chalker, her senses were still better than him, at full max. So he was not surprised when she leaped up, shouting boss as she threw herself over him. And once again, she was completely naked. However, Naruto's expression did not change in the slightest. Mina, what are you doing here? He asks. Aren't you happy to see me? She asks. Of course, said Naruto. As she crawled over, so she was facing him. But why are you here? Couldn't I just come to visit boss? She asks. I miss you, you know. Well, I have no problem with that. That made her squeal in happiness. However, she had something on her mind. And what exactly aren't you telling me? Well, there was another reason I was sent here. Karen sent me here. For what? Said Naruto. Seeing that you don't want us working in the Fire Nation, she got some information that she want me to give you. And Mina was wondering, can I accompany you on this mission? What mission are you talking about? There's a business typhoon who is mixed up with a lot of shady deals, currently operating close to your region. He's in a village known as a Land of Wave. His name is Gato. Gato, huh? You know of him, boss? Yes. I've heard his name. He's a very terrible person. Mina knows, she said as she slammed her fist into her palm. That is why you and I should go and crush him. Remember what you told me, boss. People who use their money and wealth to turn people into slaves and control them should be crushed. So are we gonna crush him, boss? She asks. Sure thing, he said, making her happy. But tomorrow, as he threw himself on his bed and lay down, Mina jumped on the other side. Mina, why aren't you wearing any clothes? It's better this way, she said. Clothes are always just so restricted, she said, as she stretched and lay her head on his chest. As Naruto could only sigh. Well, he didn't really mind it, so he fell asleep. The next day, teammate once again meet up. However, this time the real Naruto was not there. This was a special clone that he created, using a mixture of chakra and magic. It was strong enough to get several solid hits. It would not just dispel, and it was a clone of himself, so it's not like it's gonna be defeated that easily. And after that high rank C rank mission that turned into something much more dangerous, he doubted that Kurna would bring them on another C rank so soon. So he had nothing to worry about. He had a few days. At the moment, him and Mina had left out rather early as they were making their way towards the Land of Wave. The streets were empty as they made their way. They were walking and talking amongst one another. As Naruto enjoyed their company a lot, she was so carefree. And that is the simplest things in life, as she enjoyed them. So as they made their way, Mina smelled something up ahead, as someone was passing by. Naruto had turned the slime clothing in to a cloak and a hood over his head. This was not his suit that he always wear, just something to keep his disguise hidden just in case. This place was not too far away from the Land of Fire, and not too far away from any shinobis that might be passing by going to Konoha. However, Mina told him that this person did not smell right. As both him and Mina continued to walk, he told her to simply stay where she was, not to do anything rash. It did not take too long for them to come across a hooded individual. As for said hooded individual, as they were walking they could tell two people were coming. However, this person, well, it was not really a person. Mina was right, it did smell off. This thing was the same thing that had sucked the chakra and life force out of those sand shinobis. As it was simply passing through these areas, it had a strong sense, just like Mina. It could smell that the girl was powerful, but the moment its eyes locked on the cloaked figure of Naruto, its senses went into overdrive. It did not see what your normal individual saw. It could see the power and strength of a person, and what it saw sent its system into a trembling force that it itself could not understand and manage. It didn't know why, but this person was someone that it had to absorb, someone that it had to kill. As for Naruto, as his eyes lay on this cloaked figure. It was just for a moment. Naruto felt something off. He has never looked at a person and felt this way before. "Boss, is something wrong?" Mina asks. Immediately, Naruto's clothing switched. Blade appeared in hand. Both him and the thing flashed forward. Mina was surprised. Boss was there one moment, the next he was gone. Blade and claw clashed together, creating sparks. The monster hand, claws not nails, were trying to break Naruto's blade, but it was unsuccessful. Its other hand lashed out. Mina saw that as she slammed right into it, shoulder tackling it away. It crashed and slammed into a tree. She growled as she went on all fours. "I don't know who the hell you are, but you dare attack boss in front of Mina. I'll rip you to shreds." She shot forward at blinding speeds, appearing in front of it as she swiped her hand down, intending on tearing its face off. However, before she could, the next thing she knew, she was over to the side, as boss was holding her in his hands. "Boss," she said. "Calm down, Mina," said Naruto. "Don't rush in to fight this thing head on. It's not normal." Mina looked over boss' shoulder to see several strange branches that came out of that monster over there. If Mina was not saved by boss, she would have been skewered. How were they so fast? "Boss, you saved Mina." As Naruto pecked her on the head, "I'm sure that you would have been fine," said Naruto. "You're a tough girl after all." Yeah, Mina would have been fine, but it would have been painful. And boss jumped in to save Mina anyway. "That is why Mina loved boss," she said, as she stepped aside as Naruto raised his blade. "Let Mina be the one to put it down." "No, I'll handle it," said Naruto. As she nodded, the thing rose back up, as the several branches that came from its body, under its cloak, were moving like they were snakes, under its control. They weren't exactly branches, they were just shaped like it, as the tip were glistening with a strange liquid. It was chakra, but in liquid form. One scratch would be poisonous, he could tell. As Naruto watched it carefully. "What are you?" he asked. "What are you?" it responded. "Because you are no normal human. I can tell that your power is being held back somehow, and yet it is so great. A normal human cannot sense your power like I can." The thing seemed to be hungry the way it was talking. "I don't know what you are, but my instincts are telling me to kill you." "Huh, funny. Mine are telling me to kill you as well," said Naruto. "I wonder, who's gonna die first?" As the thing opened its mouth to say something, Naruto stood behind it. The tree that was behind it was sliced into pieces. The monster body split into 3 pieces. "Boss is so fast," said Mina. "It's not over," said Naruto, as the thing started to reattach itself and pull itself back up. "I figured it wouldn't be that easy." "You can't kill me. So, that question that you asked, who's gonna die first? I guess you'll be the one to die first." Amusing. "However, I'm not sure what you are, but I can tell that you're no good. That is why I'll get rid of you." The both of them vanished. Sparks started to fly all over the place, until the monster was thrown from the heavens, its body crashing into the ground. However, it slammed its hand into the ground. The strange tentacles all rose up, shot in towards Naruto, who vanished. Once he reappeared, they all sliced into 10 pieces. Naruto slammed a brutal kick into its face. Its body bounced off the ground and slammed through 4 trees. As Naruto reappeared behind it in mid-air, its sword raised, only for it to open its mouth, and a toxic gas came out of it. Naruto was gone in an instant as he reappeared on the ground. It flipped and landed on a tree. As it crawled up it like some animal, looking down at him, it then started to move its mouth, before it spat something out towards him. A tiny ball, almost like a golf ball. It was completely purple, was coming towards Naruto. Naruto aimed to slice right through it when he noticed. He vanished. The moment it made contact with the earth, It exploded, tearing out several tree trunks. Mina looked around in the smoke. "Boss, behind you!" she yelled, as the thing was behind Naruto ready to tear his head off. However, Naruto's hand was already glowing in front of him. Several purple arrows appeared in mid-air. Its eyes went wide as it was skewered and thrown. It slammed into a tree, the arrows keeping it there. As Naruto turned to face it, he walked forward as he raised his blade and swiped. As it finally tear off the cloak that was covering it, the thing body tear itself out of the arrows and regenerate when it landed. As its feet, its whole body was grey. "Wow, it's really ugly," said Mina as she stood beside Naruto. "I have to agree with you on that one, Mina. It's really ugly." As the both of them looked at it, it hissed at them with rage at having itself exposed. Its entire body was grey from head to toe. Its hands, 4 fingers. There was no thumb. There was nothing but claws on the tip of them. Dark, long claws that could tear through metal, steel, anything it wanted. Its face was covered by bandages, the top half to be exact. However, Naruto could see the eye between the bandages. He saw a bit of red, a strange circle red. He was not sure what it was. Its mouth was exposed though, showing teeth, at least 100 sharp teeth. And there was something wrapped around its waist. "Is that a tail?" Naruto thought to himself. As Naruto looked at the monster, he felt his stomach turn. No, not that his stomach was feeling funny or anything. The chakra in his stomach. That was a 9-tailed fox. As the monster looked at him, it started to focus on him. Once again it seemed hungry, judging from the strange goo coming from its lips. "What are you?" said Mina. However, it did not look at her. It was looking at Naruto. As it looked him up and down, it could tell that he was strong. Too strong for it to face right now. It was still weak, premature, nowhere close to its full strength. "You're stronger than me," it said. "Yep, I already know that," said Naruto. "Why tell me that though?" "Because when I come back, I'll be stronger." "And who told you that you were leaving?" Naruto asked. It started to chuckle as it kept on looking at him, a dark chuckle leaving its lips. "Well, try and stop me." It slammed its hands into the ground. The earth in front of them exploded. Hundreds of those things came out of it, all of them coated in that strange toxin. Naruto stepped in front of Mina and started to flash his blade at blinding speed. The only thing Mina saw was the light ricocheting off the blade. The next thing she knew, all of those things were sliced to pieces. They were destroyed. As Mina started to sniff around, "I can't sense him, boss. This strange toxin." "I'm not surprised," said Naruto. "This thing is really strong. A part of his distraction and getaway plan. It's smart." "What was it?" "I'm not sure. But I think it's gonna be a problem if I don't kill it very soon. But don't worry. It will rear its ugly head once again. And the next time it does, I'll end it." Naruto turned towards her as he did not hear her responding. As she was looking at him with sparkle in her eyes. "What's wrong?" "Boss is just so cool," she said to him, as she leaped and hopped on his shoulders. "Now, let's continue on our mission, boss." "Yeah, sure," said Naruto, as he walked, watching all the roots that came out. Those toxins were slowly vanishing, and they were disintegrating into nothing. What a creature, he thought. Meanwhile, the thing was far away, having gone into the earth. It wasn't exactly human, so it could do things that, well, humans could not. It reappeared far distance away. It was angry, and also happy. Angry that it wasn't strong enough, and happy that it found someone like that. If I were to devour him, including him with that power inside of him, But not just that, his power alone, I would be at least 10 times stronger than what I am, or what I was. I would never have expected such an amazing human. No, I'm not even sure if he's human. I've never felt a human with such power. It licked its lips, releasing a dark tongue, coated in that strange, same poisonous saliva. I will have him, and I will devour him, and then I will be unstoppable, he said. His dark laughter resonating through the darkness of the forest that it was in, as it went away into the darkness, vanishing as it came. Time skip. On the bridge, Kakashi, Hokage, was currently facing off against Zabuza Momokai. Things had turned bad really quick. The first thing they did was coming towards Land of Wave. They face off against Demon Brothers. Then they faced Zabuza, and he was able to retreat. And now he was back with his accomplice that saved his life. Upon his retreat, taking him, making them think that he was a hunter from Kiri. He glanced over his shoulder just for the slightest moment. He could still feel their chakra, but it was dropping. He needed to hurry up and end this. However, the place was filled with mist as he glanced around, over towards the other side. Shino had to move back with the client that he was protecting. Kiba and Sasuke got themselves trapped inside the dome. Shino had been trying to lend support by using his bugs to suck the chakra out of the dome mirrors, but the ninja was able to feel and predict everything that he did. Throwing senbons that were able to take his bugs out of the air, he was shocked to the accuracy. Not to mention his bugs were having a hard time surviving in the climate that was getting colder and colder and colder. The ninja was doing this on purpose to keep him out of the fight, as he could not see from the distance that he was, as senbons had been raining outside and he had to keep the client safe. The ninja inside knew if he was left unoccupied, he would have destroyed the dome from outside, so he made sure to keep him away. He could not help in this scenario. As he glanced back, he had to protect the client. That is their whole mission basis. As he glanced forward and wondered if they were okay. Meanwhile, Sasuke was having a hard time keeping up, even with his now activated Sharingan. Kiba was not doing so good either, as he had senbons in his legs and arm. Sasuke had two in his arm and one in his leg as well, as they glanced around, trying to keep track. However, they start to apply pressure to the Hunter Nin, so the Hunter Nin kicked up the pressure on them and know they were suffering. Sasuke had two kunais in his hand, using to deflect and block. However, he knew soon enough that his stamina will run out. Hey, Uchiha! He glanced over toward his cocky teammate, as Kiba was grinning. Oh, you're still up, Kiba said. I thought you had just passed out on me. Tuh, in your dreams, Sasuke said. Well, try and keep up, will you? Kiba said, as he looked over toward his partner that was unconscious. He had to end this quickly. The place was too cold. It was not good for Akamaru. I've already told you. Surrender and hand over the old man, and you won't have to die. And we already told you. Go and screw yourself, Kiba said. The Hunter Ninja frowned under his mask. Alright then. I shall end this. Kiba. Yeah, I know, Kiba said, as both him and Sasuke snapped their eyes around until all of the mirrors were filled with the Hunter Ninjas. What the hell? Kiba, behind you, Sasuke said as he saw the senbons raining down. However, as Kiba turned, he was screwed. Until an explosion went off. Several mirrors shattered. It all happened in the span of a few seconds. The Hunter Ninja was blasted on the bridge. As the whole thing started to collapse, all the senbons were blown away in the process, saving Kiba's life. He looked around shocked. What's going on? Sasuke himself was confused. All he saw was the mirrors shattering. He then turned his head as he saw the Hunter Ninja jumping away. Well, at least he tried to. Haku was shocked as he did not know what kind of person this was, with such strength. He tried to backpedal only for a fist to slam into his gut The next thing he knew, a kick slammed under his chin. His mask was torn off before he was backhanded into the railing. He slammed into it hard. Flashing through one-handed seals, he slammed his hand on the ground. Ice spikes rose up. However, the person spun, tearing through all of them in a wild manner. Haku tried to get back up, only for the person kick to launch him in the air. The person then appeared behind him. This was fun. But it's time for Mina to finish it. Haku tried to pull himself out of the way. His one hand was free, but the rest of his body was stuck. He had no choice but to create the ice mirror before he was viciously slammed into the ground. As he teleported them to a different area, over the other side of the bridge, where they dropped harmlessly, Haku kicked the girl off him as he rolled to his feet. As Mina looked towards him with a smile. "Who are you?" Haku said. "Boss told me to defeat you, so I don't have to tell you anything." As Mina shot forward. Meanwhile, Kakashi was confused as he saw the dome disappear. Something was wrong. "Mind if I join in?" a voice said, shocking both ninjas. Zabuza swung his blade, only for it to be blocked easily. He had to step back, Kakashi doing so as well. "Who are you?" as a man stood in front of him dressed in all black. Black and purple as well, with some blue mixed into it. Kakashi could not see his face. "Don't worry, Hatake. I'm not here to kill you. However, you seem exhausted. Why don't you take a break and let me fight him instead?" "Why? And exactly who are you?" Kakashi asks, as the person just walked away, ignoring him. Zabuza frowned. "And who are you?" he said. "Another one of my victims." The person stepped forward only for him to blink away. Zabuza spun, his instincts kicking in. However, he was not fast enough. A brutal hit slammed right into his chest. He could have sworn that his heart stopped completely for a moment. As he hit the floor, it restarted. He rolled over as a blade almost slammed right into his skull. However, it stopped before it could hit the bridge. He was shocked that someone had such control over their movements. Zabuza got up as the person did not say anything. He tried to outwit the person in blades, but to his surprise, the person was so much better than him, it was shocking. He was treated like a child and his blade was taken away and thrown to the side. Never in his life had something ever happened to him like that. Kakashi himself could not believe it. Who was this person? "You asked who I am. I am the eminence in shadow," he said. Both of them were confused by who that was, as they never heard that name before. But they could tell that this person was far above the both of them. Even Kakashi had to admit that, with just a few seconds, he was able to manhandle Zabuza like he was nothing. Trying to fight without his blade proved to be the worstest idea he ever chose. The person sliced him in several different areas over his body. Those weren't ordinary strikes though, as Zabuza collapsed down to his knee. "I can't move." The person had cut the tendons in his body, leaving him completely defenseless, as a blade was put in front of his face. Zabuza was shocked. This was unbelievable. Never in his life had he felt such humiliation and shame. His own art, the art of blades, used against him like he was a mere genin, trying to wield a toy sword. As he looked up towards this person, unable to fathom what he was feeling at this moment. Humiliation, shame, his pride broken, as the person looked down towards him. And to make matters even worse, "Don't worry, today will not be your end. Maybe get some more training in before you can fight someone like me ever again." With that, the person started to walk away, ignoring him. Something was thrown, as he turned his head to see that it was Haku. Haku was unconscious. There was blood running down his forehead. "He thought he was faster than me, so I had to rough him up a bit," Mina said, as she saw Zabuza. She walked over and pat him on the head. "You have to train him better, okay?" With that, she walked away, ignoring him like he wasn't even there. Both Mina and Naruto hopped on the water as they started to walk away, confusing and shocking the Konoha ninjas, and Zabuza and Haku as well. Before they went away though, oh, Gato was going to betray you and kill you in the end. So I suggest that you sort this out before the Konoha ninjas kill you themselves. Given that he's currently here, I presume that was his plan. All Zabuza could do was look ahead as he saw many ships appearing over the horizon. As he grit down hard, he was angry, couldn't believe it. That bastard was going to betray him. He had to put something else on his mind. His humiliating defeat was something that he could not keep on for the moment. He glanced towards Kakashi. Seems we're no longer enemies, he said. As he tried to pull himself over to the side to see what was going to happen, Kakashi himself did not know what to say towards all of this. As Mina and Naruto walk onto the water to see all the boats coming in, Mina started to sniff. I got his scent, boss, she said. Alright, said Naruto. You stay right here. Okay, boss. As she stood where she was. Wait, who the hell is that? One of the men at the front said. Huh? Who is it? Gato asked. Wait, he's gone. Nah, I'm right here. Gato blinked as he looked up, as someone had his hands on his shoulder. That is when Naruto noticed two people unconscious in the boat that Gato was in. A young boy and a woman. This was Iniri and Tsunami. The goons had kidnapped the both of them for Gato to use them as leverage once the Konoha ninjas were dead. And Zabuza was dead, of course. The two men that were sent there had taken the boat and came around and brought them here towards their leader. The guy's hand was grabbed by Naruto before he could swipe, as Naruto snapped his wrists. He cried out. The other one tried to get up, however Naruto slammed his foot in his face so hard his head snapped back, and his body went motionless. Gato tried to jump off, but Naruto grabbed him and slammed him back down in the boat, as he winks out in pain. Mina, Naruto called out. Mina was there in an instant. Would you take these two to a safe distance, said Naruto. Sure thing, boss, as she took the both of them and leaped away. As all the other men tried to swim near, getting closer, unaware that they were coming to their doom. Who are you? Said Gato. That doesn't matter. You're all gonna die very soon anyway. Gato tried to get up, however Naruto placed a boot down on his chest. I've been wanting to try this for a long time, but I've never got the right scenery or as much of people to use it on, he said, looking around. A purple glow enveloped everything around them. As Mina saw a purple glow stop in front of her, she reached forward, but there was a barrier as her fingers could not get through it. As Naruto spread his arms out wide and brought his blade up to the heavens, all of the boats stopped what they were doing. As the man stopped rowing, they started to feel fear. Something was wrong. Kakashi was on his feet as he looked over. Sasuke was holding up Kiba as Kiba was holding Akamaru. As he looked over as well, Shino was there with a client to witness greatness. As Naruto stood, standing on Gato's chest same way with his 1 feet, as he raised his blade. I am atomic. He brought his blade on Gato's chest. The moment it made contact, there was a power release. Unlike anything that was ever seen before, the ocean exploded upwards. However, none of it got through the barrier. As Mina stood there, unaffected by the blast, however, her eyes were wide in shock as she effortlessly held up the two individuals. She looked as the blast spread up into the heavens. She could see the bottom of the ocean. It even spread down below, so the ocean did not ruffle beyond it. But she could see the bottom of the ocean where her boss stood. The boats were incinerated as her boss was floated in mid-air. All the bodies were turned into dust, the blast shooting all the way up in the heavens. The very air seemed to tremble. Despite them being protected by the barrier, they could feel the haunting force. If that was to be spread in a village, Kakashi was not sure if the village would be left standing. Who was this person? How could one such person have such power? And he's never heard of him before. Who is this shadow individual? As the place was turned into chaos for the single moment where everything erupted. As it started to die down, the water had been eviscerated. There was no water coming in back because of the barrier, so the floor of the sea could be seen quite clearly. That was until he released the barrier as the water started to fill in the gaps. He then appeared behind Mina. "How was it?" he asked, looking for the praise. "That was so awesome, boss," she said, bouncing on her heels, while on top of the water, as it was now ricocheting because of it filling in the gaps. "Mina, the people. Oh yeah, forgot about them," she said, as she was jumping so much. As he took them away from her. "Boss is so powerful. No one in the entire world is strong as Boss." As Naruto simply smiled, as they calmly made their way back to the shore. Kakashi and the others did not have it in them to actually raise their weapons, after just witnessing that. "Iniri, Tsunami." As Naruto walked over towards the old man, "I think these guys belong to you," as he handed them over. With that, him and Mina proceed to vanish, leaving the Konoha ninjas completely shocked, unable to express what they were actually feeling and saying and understanding. Sasuke was beyond shock. He never thought someone could have such power. Even now, it was still just so unreal. If he had that power, he could get his revenge. Just who was that person, he thought to himself. But they were already gone. Time skip. As Haku was helping Zabuza, Zabuza was leaning on him as they made their way, trying to find Gato hideout, hoping that they can at least still get pay. The both of their mind was still on that individual that erased the both of them. Haku thinking about the girl, Zabuza thinking about the guy. Their strength was unreal. As Haku realized his ice was smashed like paper compared to that person's strength. She was so fast, so ferocious. It was just shocking. Zabuza, as he looked at his massive blade, its tendons were healed as much as they could by Haku, but his body was still stiff. When they got to the location, they were surprised to see the place was completely cleaned out. However, there was a note on the table. "I figured that you'd be here, Zabuza. After all, he did need to pay you for your mission. So, being the generous person I am, I left this behind for you." At the end of the note, "Eminence in Shadow" was written. As Zabuza looked over, Haku opened it to see a pile of golds and cash inside. The both of them blinking as they looked towards one another. Back at the village, the event that just took place a few hours ago had the people in shock that they were finally free. However, something strange appeared out of nowhere. It was a chest filled with gold, coins, and money. Tears started came to their eyes. They were free. And this, who is this eminence in shadow? They thought to themselves. Kakashi for his part just watched the scene unfold. This was good for the people of Wave, but he was curious. Just who was this eminence in shadow individual? He had to report this to the Hokage. Time skip. 3 girls were placed on a boat, as Naruto and Mina were at the entrance. As Mina was hugging Naruto goodbye for now, those 3 girls were found in Gato's location, taken from their homes by those awful men. As Mina was bringing them back so they could have a better life, so they could learn how to defend themselves, so they could one day join with the strongest group in the entire world. "Bye bye for now, boss. It was fun," said Mina as all the chests were placed on the boat. "I'll tell Karen that you'll be coming by soon, okay?" As Naruto nodded. With that, Mina and the crew made their way off. As Naruto turned to make his way back home, because of his past knowledge that he gave to Karen when he was with her, she was taking that knowledge and having people generate these things. Technologies that weren't supposed to be in the elemental nation were currently in it. However, that technology had not spread yet. Soon enough, the shadow would repopulate the world all over, and also having a huge control over it with their vast knowledge that was passed down to them by their boss. They had taken the entire island more than one to be exact, and took it as their home. Naruto had been to few of the outpost islands, but they were the smaller ones. Karen had told him that they were not finished yet, as he presumed that they were building something to surprise him. As Mina said that it was a surprise, he knew that he could get her to spill it by, while being a bit more persuasive, but he figured, just had a little fun and be surprised. However, as he was walking, his mind was curious on that monster. Naruto figured that the one inside of him would have made contact by now. However, he felt the disturbance when he faced that creature upon coming here. There was no doubt they were somehow connected in some strange way. He was not sure how. The power was more toxic, but he figured that he has to be the one to first build the bridge so they could talk. He figured that the one inside of him would be able to reach out at first, but he was wrong. He had to find somewhere as he made his way. It did not take too long. Sitting by himself, he crossed his legs and closed his eyes as he started to meditate, searching for that power inside of him that was locked away. It did not take too long, seeing that he had almost 100% control over everything that was done in his body. The only control that he did not have was over the fox. Well, to an extent yes, but to an extent no. And finally he arrived inside of a... Wait, is this a sewer? He thought to himself. But guys, we end subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.